The gentle May sunlight poured down on the white mansion in Boston's upscale residential district. In the spacious living room of the Williams residence, it was time for afternoon tea. Light from the crystal chandelier cast soft shadows on the antique furniture. Through the large windows, one could see the carefully tended azaleas in the garden, their vivid crimson announcing the arrival of spring. "Oh, Amanda, you're simply wonderful," Barbara Williams exclaimed, elegantly sipping her Earl Grey tea while her eyes sparkled as she spoke about her youngest daughter. Her Chanel tweed jacket exuded an air of sophistication. "I'm so proud that my daughter is the youngest department head in Boston Tech's history." Barbara repeated those words. Amanda, with her perfect makeup and wearing a new Prada dress, smiled in response to her mother's expectations. "Thank you, Mom. But it's really because the company is so proactive about promoting young talent." Though Amanda's words were modest, there was unmistakable confidence in her eyes. Meanwhile, Olivia, the eldest daughter, sat in a single armchair by the window, wearing a simple gray cardigan. Behind her intellectual-looking black-rimmed glasses, her quiet gaze observed the family conversation. "Olivia, why don't you think about changing jobs?" Amanda suddenly addressed her sister. "Boston Tech would surely hire you. I could even put in a word with HR." Barbara nodded in agreement. "That's right, Olivia. Your talents are being wasted at that small accounting firm." Olivia looked up from her smartphone with a gentle smile. "Thank you, but I'm quite content with my current job." Her voice was soft yet carried an underlying strength. George Williams, their father, who was reading a newspaper across the table, smiled slightly at his daughter's exchange. As a physics professor at Boston University, he had always watched over his daughters with an impartial eye. His mild expression seemed to hold something contemplative. Olivia returned her attention to her smartphone screen, checking her emails with a serious expression. Her fingers moved swiftly yet precisely across the screen. "But Olivia, you're already 35 and still at that tiny accounting firm." Barbara's words carried a critical tone masked as concern. However, Olivia's expression remained unchanged. "Oh, by the way, my promotion party next week will be at the Langham Hotel." "Of course, I want the whole family to come," Amanda announced proudly. "That's wonderful." Barbara clapped her hands in delight. "Of course I'll be there, Amanda," Olivia quietly replied and stood up. There was something calculated and purposeful about her movement. She smiled at her family and said, "I need to check on some work," before heading to the study. The remaining family members continued to chat excitedly about Amanda's promotion party. The grand ballroom at the Langham Hotel was bathed in the soft light of dusk. Droplets of light from the champagne tower reflected off the crystal chandeliers, twinkling like stars. At the entrance, an elegant sign reading, "Congratulations, Amanda Williams," in gold letters was displayed, flanked by an arch of pink and white roses. About 200 guests, dressed in elegant evening wear, arrived one after another, engaging in sophisticated conversation. Amidst the congratulatory atmosphere, Amanda, wearing a new black Chanel dress with an elegantly gleaming pearl necklace, greeted guests with a radiant smile. Beside her, Barbara, dressed in a Dior suit, introduced her daughter proudly while her diamond earrings sparkled. "Look at my youngest daughter. She's always been such a hard worker, ever since she was little." Olivia sat at a table near the window at the back of the venue. Her simple gray dress stood out in stark contrast to the glamorous attire around her, almost as if intentionally understated. She quietly observed her surroundings, while occasionally checking her smartphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming," the voice of Boston Tech's vice president resonated through the venue. "Today, we celebrate the promotion of our rising star, Amanda Williams. Since joining our company, she has shown remarkable growth, achieving the extraordinary feat of becoming a department head at just 28 years old." Loud applause erupted. Amanda gracefully walked to the podium. Her every movement was perfectly calculated, like a fashion show model. "Everyone, thank you so much for attending my promotion party today." Amanda's voice was filled with confidence. "It is the greatest honor to be selected as Boston Tech's youngest department head ever. I am deeply grateful for everyone's guidance and support that made this possible." Warm applause filled the room. Amanda paused for a moment and surveyed the crowd. When her eyes landed on Olivia sitting in the back, her expression subtly changed. "By the way, there's someone who has watched my journey to success most closely." The atmosphere in the room shifted, filled with anticipation. "Yes, my sister." All eyes turned to Olivia, who calmly placed her smartphone on her lap while maintaining her composed expression. "My sister has been the perfect example of what not to do." Amanda's voice carried a hint of sarcasm. "Watching my sister spend her days at a small accounting firm with no ambition, I made a vow to myself, I will never live such a life." Small laughs began to ripple through the crowd. "Won't someone please teach my sister how to be successful?" Amanda tried to work up the crowd. As expected, the laughter grew louder. Even Barbara was giggling behind her hand. However, at that moment, a slight smile appeared on Olivia's face. She picked up her smartphone and pressed something. The action was quiet yet decisive, like making a winning move in chess. Their father George watched his daughters with furrowed brows. His eyes held a strange light, as if foreseeing what was about to unfold. "Yes, my sister just keeps doing the same work day after day." Just as Amanda was about to continue, the venue doors quietly opened, and a man strode in confidently. It was Michael Henderson, the president of Boston Tech. His sudden appearance cut Amanda's words short. The atmosphere in the room instantly froze. "I apologize for being late," President Henderson's voice echoed through the silent venue. Everyone could see Amanda's smile freeze for a moment. She hurriedly composed herself, reconstructing her perfect smile. "President Henderson, thank you so much for attending despite your busy schedule." There was a slight tension in Amanda's voice. The president, dressed in a navy suit, approached the podium with a calm yet meaningful smile. "Congratulations on your promotion, Amanda. I'm sorry for being late to this wonderful celebration." The president's voice was warm, yet carried an air of anticipation for an important announcement. The guests fell silent. "Actually, there's someone in this room today who is revolutionizing the IT industry. At the president's words, Amanda's eyes lit up with expectation. However, that expectation wouldn't last long. "Ms. Olivia Williams, would you please come forward?" A murmur rippled through the crowd. Olivia slowly stood up from her seat by the window. Her walk now carried an unmistakable dignity. Even her simple gray dress now seemed to exude an air of grace. "I have an announcement to make," the president cleared his throat and continued. "Ms. Olivia Williams will be joining a Silicon Valley startup next month as a co-founder. The AI security system she developed is groundbreaking, overturning existing concepts." Small gasps of surprise rose from the crowd. The color visibly drained from Amanda's face. This project has already secured $1 billion in investment from global investors. In fact, we at Boston Tech are seriously considering implementing her system. Barbara nearly dropped her champagne glass. Her hand covered her mouth as she stared at Olivia in disbelief. Ms. Olivia's AI security system is revolutionary, applying quantum cryptography technology, and has already secured 7 fundamental patents. Global tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft are considering adopting this technology. Each word from the president transformed the atmosphere in the room. Outside, Boston's streetlights began to illuminate one by one as the twilight sky deepened to indigo. The scene seemed to symbolize this dramatic moment. In the tense atmosphere that filled every corner of the venue, industry veterans who had previously ignored the woman in the gray dress were now casting eager glances her way. A new respect for Olivia's intellectual charm and hidden talent swirled around her. The woman who had been the object of laughter just minutes ago was now receiving looks of reverence. Actually, Olivia has been secretly developing this project for the past 5 years. While working at a small accounting firm, she spent night after night researching, creating technology that could change the world. Amanda stood frozen on the stage. Her perfect makeup was beginning to smear with sweat. Last month, her system won unanimous first place at an international technology competition in Silicon Valley. As one of the judges, I was overwhelmed by her talent right there. Olivia stood quietly on stage. Her presence, so different from her previously modest impression, now commanded attention. "Ms. Olivia, would you like to say a few words?" The president offered her the microphone. The room fell completely silent. A mysterious dignity seemed to emanate from Olivia. She slowly took the microphone. Her gesture now revealed the confidence that had been hidden all along. Everyone in the room waited for her next words. Her father George watched his daughter with pride. His eyes held the deep understanding that only someone who had shared a long-held secret could possess. Amanda remained frozen in place, unable to look up at her sister. Barbara sat slumped in her chair, blinking repeatedly as if unable to accept reality. Olivia slowly raised the microphone. The ballroom lights had dimmed slightly, leaving her bathed in a soft spotlight. In that light, her graceful beauty, which no one had noticed before, shone through. Olivia's voice was quiet yet carried undeniable strength. 5 years ago, I made a decision. She paused briefly and looked around the room. Amanda still stood frozen on stage, her perfect makeup beginning to crumble. Barbara sat deep in her chair, hands still covering her mouth. However, her father George's eyes showed warm understanding. I wanted an environment where I could focus purely on technology development without interference. That's why I chose a small accounting firm. A small sigh escaped from the crowd at Olivia's words. I continued development late into the night, every night. Even on holidays and weekends. Only my father knew about this plan, and he occasionally lent me his laboratory. George nodded quietly. His expression showed pride in sharing this long-kept secret. I kept it secret from my family. I wanted to proceed at my own pace without feeling expectations or pressure. And Olivia paused momentarily. The tension in the room increased. I succeeded in developing an AI security system applying quantum cryptography. This system can protect our digital lives from new threats that conventional encryption technology cannot handle. Small sighs and sounds of surprise spread among the industry professionals. Olivia continued to explain the technical details in a way that was both sophisticated and clear, making complex concepts understandable to everyone. When I presented this system at the Global Technology Competition, the judges said, "This is revolutionary." Technical directors from Google, Amazon, and Microsoft were present. Barbara's face gradually changed from pale to flushed. Her eyes showed a mix of confusion at seeing her eldest daughter's true self for the first time and newfound pride. However, what made me happiest was knowing that this technology could truly protect people's lives. It can better protect our personal information, financial transactions, and most importantly, our communication with loved ones. Olivia's voice overflowed with pride as a technologist and compassion for people. And now, I have one important announcement. The atmosphere in the room tightened further. Boston Tech has just officially decided to become our first enterprise customer. The contract with President Henderson was signed moments ago. Amanda's knees trembled slightly. The fact that her company would be implementing her sister's technology spread through her like a shockwave. Success isn't necessarily about what appears glamorous to others, Olivia continued quietly but firmly. It's about steadily pursuing your own path, even if others don't understand. These words, while not specifically criticizing anyone, resonated deeply with everyone in the room. And above all, Olivia turned a gentle gaze toward her father George. This success was not achieved alone. My father's pure passion for science was always my driving force. He understood and supported my research continuously. Though he never spoke about it openly, his quiet support was invaluable to me. Tears glistened in George's eyes. Beside him, Barbara wore an expression as if she had just realized her husband's deep love and understanding. And to my sister Amanda. At this sudden address, Amanda's body tensed. I am truly happy for your success. Each person walks their own path. That's what life is about. Her words carried no criticism or sarcasm. Only the warm resonance of genuine congratulations from a sister. The atmosphere in the room gradually changed. It felt like an awakening to deeper values, freed from competition and appearances. Understanding and empathy across generations began to show on the faces of industry veterans. Tears especially shone in the eyes of older women. They nodded deeply, relating their own life experiences. The struggles between career and family, the pain of being misunderstood, and the preciousness of eventual reconciliation. All of these were embedded in Olivia's speech. Barbara dabbed her eyes with a handkerchief from her handbag. She could feel her long-held values quietly but surely changing within her. Her understanding of her daughters, her definition of happiness, and above all, her role as a mother. A tear rolled down Amanda's cheek. It wasn't a tear of shame or frustration, but one of purification, as if something within her was melting away at the touch of her sister's deep love. In a glass office building nestled in the green hills of San Francisco's suburbs, Olivia gazed at the Silicon Valley vista from her top-floor office. California sunlight illuminated the Forbes magazine on her desk, where her photo graced the cover of their 50 Innovative Entrepreneurs of the Year feature. "Could you check today's meeting materials?" At Amanda's voice, Olivia turned around with a gentle smile. Her sister had started working in the company's social contribution division a month ago. "Thank you, Amanda." She had changed significantly over the past year. After leaving Boston Tech and taking time for self-reflection, she was now in charge of a new project applying technology for social good at Olivia's company. "This proposal is excellent," Olivia said while reviewing the documents, which detailed a project using their technology to support education in developing countries. "Thank you. I never imagined my previous experience would be useful in this way." Amanda's voice revealed the joy of finding a new purpose. A video call notification appeared on the office's large screen. It was from their mother, Barbara. "Mom, are you still planning to return to Boston today?" The image of their mother on screen was clearly different from a year ago. While still elegant, her eyes now held deeper understanding and warmth. "Yes, but first I have wonderful news," Barbara continued excitedly. "My Women in Tech mentoring program is being recognized by the City of Boston. I'm so happy to help young women find their own paths." Their mother, who once cared only about appearances and superficial success, now found fulfillment in supporting the genuine growth of young women. And about next Sunday's family meeting. The monthly family meetings that began after that incident a year ago had evolved from awkward gatherings into precious opportunities to strengthen family bonds. "Your father has finished preparing for his final lecture at the university, so we can all get together." George had decided to retire from his long-held position as a Boston University professor this semester. He had chosen to spend more time with family while serving as a technical advisor to Olivia's company. "Oh, and," Barbara continued somewhat sheepishly, "the other day at the neighborhood Barbara Club meeting, I found myself talking about Olivia again, but it was different this time. Instead of bragging about my daughter's success, I talked about the importance of recognizing each child's individuality." Olivia and Amanda exchanged smiles. Outside the window, California's sunlight gently embraced Silicon Valley. In the distance stood clusters of startup office buildings symbolizing the new era, while beyond them stretched the unchanging natural mountains. Olivia let out a quiet sigh. It was a sigh of contentment and happiness. Her technology was already helping protect millions of lives worldwide. But for her, the greatest success was rebuilding family bonds and seeing everyone begin to walk their own authentic paths. "Say, let's all go out for dinner," Olivia suggested, and both Barbara on the screen and Amanda in the office nodded with beaming smiles. Outside, the twilight sky began to color beautifully, as if announcing the dawn of a new era.